Okay, I'm in good company now. I have my next interviewee to chat to me. She's one half of a duo called the True Foxes. I'd like to welcome on my show. We have Chloe from the True Foxes. How are we today?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thanks. Nice to have you on here, and thanks for taking time out to speak to me out of your busy schedule today.
No worries, thanks for having me.
And the True Foxes, I just want to take it from the top. There's two of you. How did you both meet? And would you just like to introduce to my listener yourselves?
Yeah, sure. So we are cousins. So we met via birth. Amy is the other half of True Foxes, who's not here at the moment. And she grew up in Wales, and I grew up in Cornwall. And then she moved back to Cornwall about 10 years ago now, and then we kind of started hanging out, and then about 5 years ago we started playing music together.
Cool.
From there, basically.
Cool. So Cornwall's where you're based at the moment?
Yeah.
And
Cornwall.
Is it Penzance to be precise?
Kind of, yeah. We're both just on the outskirts of Penzance, but yeah, Penzance is our main base.
And it's made famous by Gilbert and Sullivan, Penzance.
Oh yeah, and Humphrey Davy.
Brilliant. So the True Foxes, in the music business, having a good name, standing out, does help. How did you both come up with the name?
So when we first started out, Amy was staying in a caravan, and there was a little fox den at the end of the garden, and we both liked foxes, and there's kind of got a few foxes names that had been taken, and we liked the name True Foxes, so we just kind of took it from there.
Cool. And do you have a new single out doing the rounds at the moment on the airwaves?
Yes, we do. Yeah. So our brand new single 17 was released last Friday, and it's all over the place now. It's fully distributed, so it's on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, all of the things.
Yeah, I know it's doing the rounds on like the commercial radios, but this show is kind of like community local radio as well. So it's good. It's good to have it like on all kind of platforms.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's great to be part of community radio as well, because it reaches the small areas in the towns that we might not necessarily be able to reach through the bigger platforms.
Agreed. And what's the feeling like when you hear your song being played back on the radio?
Oh, it's fantastic. This one in particular, we spent a lot of time working on it, and we actually finished recording it in February, and we've been sitting on it a while. We released a single before that called How Are You Now I think it was in February or March, May, April, one of those. And then we're waiting for that one to have its effect, I guess, and see where that went. And then, now we've just released this one, and it's fantastic. We've had a lot of plays on BBC Radio as well, which has been fantastic. And listening back to that is, it's amazing. And it's also, this one's slightly different from our usual stuff, because it's quite drum heavy. So it's we are predominantly a duo. So we are I play the bass, and Amy plays guitar, and she sings vocals, and I sing vocal harmonies. So a lot of it is quite acoustic. But with this new song, this kind of new style we've been going for, my brother Bo Payne has been joining us on the drums and also an electric guitar. So you can hear a lot of that coming through, and it really makes the track stand out, I think, in our current music.
And you probably get asked all this time, it's quite a cliche question, but what styles of music do you play?
So we've gone under the hat of Americana at the moment. It's quite tricky. I feel like we've we've moved. It's a sliding scale of genres. So we started off quite folky. We listened to a lot of First Aid Kit and Staves when we began, and that's kind of where we placed ourselves with that kind of music, and leaned towards the folk. And then with the covers that we used to do, they were quite poppy. So then we went for the folk pop genre was kind of where we set ourselves. And then we've almost moved into the more country side of things, especially with this new single. But I don't know. I think Americana, we've kind of stumbled across it because just from what we've been listening to on Spotify, and realised that a lot of them are Americana, and we're like, oh, actually, this might be us. but who knows?
And how has it been received from, like, say, the demographic? Does it stretch from, like, say, young to old?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, also it depends on where it's being played and things like that, because obviously we are on loads of different platforms, so we have different reaches and different audiences for loads of different things. So when we're performing in our local towns, for example, we have a huge age range of people that come along and will follow us to the different gigs, which is fantastic. And then on Facebook, for example, it's a slightly like older demographic, I find. So a lot of our audience tend to be a bit older. And then we have Instagram as well, where we've got the younger demographic coming through. And it's great to be able to reach different people from all these different platforms and then bring it all together with new music and things. It's fantastic.
Fascinating when you look at the demographics and it's see where your music reaches, like the ages and everything.
Yeah.
And your band influences as well. Who are your influences, growing up or now even?
Mm-hmm. So it's tricky. Like what I used to listen to is very different from what I perform now. But the biggest influence for both me and Amy in what we perform is a Swedish duo called First Aid Kit. They are just fantastic. They're another female duo who play the bass and the guitar and do vocal harmonies. And a lot of that kind of the vocal harmony coming through has come from listening to those kind of songs, and also the staves as well, like I mentioned earlier. Fantastic. And then we've been listening to lots of kind of country stuff at the moment, a bit of Dixie Chicks. We love the Dixie Chicks, or I think it's just the Chicks now, they've changed the name. And who else have we been listening to? There's this new artist at the moment as well, who's probably not very relevant to our style, but she's very inspirational in just her performing and stuff like that. And she's called Sammy Ray. She's in a band called Sammy Ray and Friends. And yeah, she's fantastic. Definitely check her out.
Brilliant. Is it really refreshing to see like more women, getting into the music business and getting like the airplay as well?
Yeah, definitely. There seems to be a change at the moment, especially in what I've noticed with the live festivals. We've kind of been doing the festival circuit in Cornwall for a couple of years now, and it's been quite male oriented, and the headline acts always seem to be males. And then there seems to be like a switch, especially in the last year. So last summer, I remember we performed on the main stage at Rock Oyster Festival, which is a fantastic kind of food and music festival in North Cornwall. And we were booked, first of all, we were surprised because we were booked by a woman, which is quite rare anyway, just having like female people in the music industry. But there's a lot more of them at the moment. So yeah, this wonderful lady called Caroline booked us, and it was so different. It was such a different experience. Like there was two female headliners, and it just felt a lot more varied, and you've got a lot more variety going on with the different stages and things like that. You've got the heavier music, and then you've got the more acoustic. And yeah, there definitely seems to be some really good female artists coming out of Cornwall as well at the moment. So there's Daisy Clark and Bailey Tompkinson, just to name a couple. Molly Hocking. It's just fantastic to see all of these other women doing kind of what we're doing, and being able to support each other is great as well.
Yeah, Bailey Tompkinson, I've interviewed her like 5 years when she was breaking into like the music business. She's come so far.
Definitely,
and talk about the festivals as well. It's a season for the festivals. I know we're in mid-August now. What do you like about the Cornish festivals?
The Cornish festivals, they're just really fun. They're really down to earth, and I mean they do tend to be wet and muddy. But that's just kind of, it's all part of the festival experience, isn't it? We're actually starting to break out of Cornwall a bit more now with the festivals, which is fantastic. So we this year we started off the year in January. One of our first gigs was performing at Celtic Connections in Scotland, which was very different to what we're used to, like all the Cornish circuit, moving up there. And then we performed later in the year at Witchwood Festival on the Cheltenham racecourses, which again was very different. Like they've all got different quirks and things like that. One of my favourite festivals that we've performed at so far is Wilderness Festival in Oxfordshire. That was just fantastic. It's such a lovely vibe, beautiful area, all these trees. And then we've got a couple folk festivals coming up. So in I think 2 weeks' time, we're playing at Shrewsbury Folk Festival, which is right up north for us, across the border. But yeah, really looking forward to that one, and just the whole festival experience is I just feel at home with it.
It's great, like this country, when you think about it, there's so many nice places to visit, isn't there?
Definitely, yeah.
And you mentioned your concerts as well, live dates. Do you have a website where people can check these out and come and see you?
Yeah. So pretty much everything that we're under is True Foxes or True Foxes Music. So if you can't find us, it's True Foxes Music basically. But a lot of the time we put every month we put up our dates for that month as our cover picture on Facebook. So that's a good one to keep an eye out for. But if you don't have social media, we do have a website which is just truefoxesmusic.com, or I've paid for all of the domains. So if you get it wrong, it's also truefoxesmusic.co.uk and True Foxes. So just if you type in True Foxes onto Google, you're going to find it basically.
That's cool. And on my interviews, I always finish on a kind of like a lighter note. I just wanted to ask, can you tell my listener, do you have one interesting fact about you? It could be a party trick or anything random.
I don't know. I grew up on a golf course.
Oh, well, that will do. Well, Chloe from True Foxes, thank you for taking time out to speak to me today. It's been lovely to find out more about yourself and the band. And I'm going to play your new single now, if that's all right with you, on my show.
Absolutely fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, great. You take care and have a great day, and speak to you soon, all right?
Cheers.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Cheers.